Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1705 extends an option that is currently available to municipalities to school districts as well. It allows school districts to extend a tax credit of up to 100% of an active volunteer's tax liability to incentivize volunteers within the school district. I want to make special note of the fact that this is an option that would be extended. It would be up to a local school board to determine whether or not they would want to extend this within their school district. But it is something that makes sense to empower local jurisdictions within our Commonwealth to be able to recognize first responders and incentivize them in cases where they feel it is of value to their community. So it is not a mandate, it is an option, it is a tool that we can extend to our school districts, and it's something that I think would be a very helpful tool, and I ask for an affirmative vote. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Representative Gabler. Is there any discussion on this bill? Representative Greiner? Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to clarify, because I know we did something a few years ago. I guess I'm asking, what's the definition of a volunteer firefighter, in these communities? I just need a refresher on this, and maybe I could talk to, people on the committee too, because, for instance, I don't know whether it's 10% of the fire calls makes you an active member, 50%, whether it's, you're attending 10 out of 12 meetings a year. How do you determine who gets that tax credit? I mean, what I'm saying, some people, it changes a little bit. I just need to get who has that discretion to make up what's going on there.
I know our staff is going to be able to help provide a little bit more clarity, but I will point out that under this bill, this benefit and this option that is currently extended to municipalities would just be extended to school districts. So we're not changing a definition here. In the bill, it references specifically an active volunteer. So we're talking about extending, this isn't just extending to people that are on the roster, this is extending to active volunteers with a definition that is actually referenced within current law.
Under Act 172, when we passed it, we passed a law that said that the municipalities can choose. We have to give the municipalities the authority to provide a tax credit. So that's what we did in Act 172. In that act, we said that we're going to leave it up to the fire companies and the municipalities to decide what the criteria is going to be in order to be qualified for that tax credit. So we leave it up to them at the local level. All we're doing here is lumping in a different government entity along with the municipality.
No, thank you for that. I mean, I knew you were just expanding it. I just couldn't remember. I remember maybe there might have been discussions on that, like in my municipality might differ from the neighboring municipality on what qualifies for a credit. I mean, one township, it could be 50% of the calls. The other township, it could be, we need a firefighter to do 75%. So it's up to the discretion of the municipalities. I thought that might be the case. I just couldn't remember. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments, Frank? Representative Ferry.
One other thing I want to highlight that the representative's bill does is when Act 172 came over to the House from the Senate, it was like the 11th hour before the end of session, so there wasn't really an opportunity to amend it to correct some errors in it, and Representative Gabler's bill actually does have one important correction. Right now, the property tax credit that municipalities can provide is capped at 20%. As we all know, the least amount of property taxes are generally paid to our municipalities and counties. So if you have a $500 tax bill, right now the cap of what the municipality can actually allow to be credited is 20%. So that'd be $100. The representative's bill actually fixes that and allows the municipalities to provide a 100% tax credit if they so choose. So it's an important flaw that was in Act 172 that's also being corrected by this bill, and I ask my colleagues to join me in supporting the representative's bill.